Hello guys. So me and Alfie have finally managed to escape the hovel, as it's been a rather wet and windy weekend, unfortunately. But we're out here now, and hopefully the weather will hold out to get through this video. So today we're going to talk about some of my favourite young guitar players, guys who I listen to and take great inspiration from. So there'll be many names on that I miss off this list, either because I've never heard of them before, or maybe they post on Instagram, which I don't really spend much time on Instagram, so chances are I won't know about them. Or maybe I've just forgotten about them. So let me know in the comments who your favourite players are of the younger generation. So by young, I'm going to use my age as the cutoff. Obviously, for people younger than me, they probably think, they probably consider me an old man. But my age is the cutoff. So guys like Rainer Bass, Julian Lage, all these wonderful players, I'm afraid, have are not eligible for this list, I'm afraid. But yeah, so let's get into this list. So, finally, this isn't going to be a ranking list. This is not ranked. Just because all these players are so different and so wonderful in their own way, I don't want to disrespect any players by making a meaningless ranking when they're certainly not competing with one another. They've all spent a long time developing their own unique voice on the instrument, and I think in this instance it would be a bit disrespectful to rank the players, as I think they're all wonderful. So I'm going to start with the more well-known players, and then we'll get to the less well-known players. So let's quickly get through the big boys first, as far as social media is concerned anyway. So obviously you've got Matio Manuso, absolutely wonderful player, beautiful articulation, great phrasing, great, wonderful language. You can play rock, you can play jazz, you can do the whole rock fusion thing. He's just a wonderful player, amazing timing with Matio. Obviously, he's got his unique technique, which is masterful. People try and say I've heard people trying to say it's classical guitar technique and try to compare it to Lenny Breau in the past, but that's not the case. It's very much more like a modern bass guitar technique, a player like Hadrian Ford. But obviously the accuracy that it requires to do this on guitar is amazing. So Matio is a wonderful player, but he gets a lot of praise, deservedly so, from the guitar community. However, there are many other wonderful players too, as I'm sure you're all aware. So the next guy on the list, and this guy made my list of my favourite YouTube channels. We'll go with Josh Meader second. So, you guys know that I'm a big fan of what Josh does. He's always searching as a guitar player. He's got, in his own way, a very unique technique as well. The fluidity to his selective picking is just absolutely astonishing. Really interesting lines with Josh. And that's why I'm a big fan of his playing, because he's got some really nice, unique lines, which I really like. But I also love his music as well. Obviously very Tigran influenced, but he's really right at the cutting edge of modern jazz with what he's doing at the moment. And obviously he's so young that I imagine what he could achieve in the next 10 years or so. So a wonderful player. There's a little bit of stuff online that he does, like playing over backing tracks and everything, but he's a little bit away from that kind of scene. It's not just kind of Josh Meader plays over a sunny backing track. He's a little bit more creative with what he's doing, and that's why I really love his playing. So another guy up there, I haven't talked about Ben on this channel yet. Next, we'll talk about Ben Onsson. And Ben is just an absolutely phenomenal player. I love Ben Onsson's playing. I've just seen he's going to take a little bit of a break from YouTube, which is fair enough because he's been grafting away for a long time. And I think he's going to focus more on putting out some music. So I'm very much looking forward to the time where I can get to Ben's position on that. That would be wonderful. But yeah, Ben is just an absolutely stunning guitar player. The fluidity to his lines. He's got he's got a very personal voice on the instrument. Just really nice fluid lines, but they always pop really nicely. His language works wonderfully over jazz music, just as it does on fusion. He's got so many wonderful influences. I know he was taught by 𝐸𝐺 Pabozi at his university, so he's very influenced through the pentatonic approach too, which obviously I'm a big fan of that approach. But he's just an absolutely wonderful player. Beautiful phrasing, beautiful tone. Just certainly one of the top guys. But obviously he's relatively well known again, so I'm starting off with the more well-known guys. Next, we're starting to get a little bit less well-known now, but still pretty well-known. Again, this guy made my list very high up on my favourite YouTube channels, but I refer to his name as Cecil Alexander. And I think it's Cecil Alexander, I've realised since. But Cecil is an absolutely incredible player. So tasteful, jazz language for days. But as I said on the other video, he really pushes the boundaries of this stuff. And yeah, he's really taking it to new heights. Just really tasty little inflections, like little tasty fusion elements, you know, like whether it be little augmented ideas to his lines, but he's always able to bring them in a way which is so tasteful to the jazz style. I've also heard him play absolutely ripping fusion solos with distortion. And he can do some great neo-soul or funk kind of comping stuff. And just beautiful music all around. He's just a stunning musician. Obviously, he works with the guys at Hardcore Records, which is Kurt Rosenwinkel's record company. So I think he's signed up there. And he's put out some beautiful, I think it was an organ trio that he did. I think he's done a variety of different things, but he's just an absolute master. Obviously, he gets quite a lot of exposure because he's played with guys like Chad LB, and he works with that site, Learn Jazz Standards or something like that. So you often see him, and obviously his playing just appeals to so many different people, whether it be the fusion fans or the jazz fans, because it's just so musical. Final thing I'll say is, if you want to check out one performance by him, then I would check out his solo concert at the Herbie Hancock guitar competition, because it was just absolutely stunning. Sorry, there's just a rather large Rottweiler over there, and I didn't want Alfie to end up as dog food. So yeah, so next on the list, we'll go for Pasquale Grasso. Pasquale Grasso, I don't know totally how to pronounce his name, but a very well-known guitar player, absolutely stunning player. As everyone says, he's very much adopted the Bud Powell language and applied it to guitar, but no one has been able to take this to the level that Pasquale has been able to take this to. The intricacy within his bebop language is just absolutely stunning. It's just kind of like next level. Yeah, how he's able to apply that vocabulary on guitar is just, yeah, unbelievable. Also, his comping and the way he's able to self-accompany while he's soloing is just ridiculous. The counterpoint within his lines, all this counterpoint comes from the traditional jazz background, from the bebop language, and he just does it to such a high level. He's always been a killer musician. I listened to him playing the Villa-Lobos Preludes on a classical guitar. I remember that recording. I think he's got a classical background, and that would kind of make sense with his technique. But he's just an absolutely astonishing guitar player. And if you haven't checked him out, he's got lots of wonderful recordings out there, solo guitar. If you want to check out any versions like of All the Things You Are, or any of these classic standards, then it's not going to get much better. Well, it's not going to get better than Pasquale, so you put it that way. So now we're getting to the guys who are a little bit less well known. So I will start off with one of my very favourite players of the younger generation, Max Light. I'm a huge fan of Max Light. Absolutely stunning playing. I don't think he's as well known as he deserves to be. So his language, he's very much got the whole Kurt Rosenwinkel thing going on, but with the Allan Holdsworth element. But he puts it together in a thoroughly unique way. Most people, when they put on a pog, it just ends up sounding like Kurt Rosenwinkel. But Max has got such a unique style on the instrument that he pulls it off and retains his unique identity. An absolutely beautiful player. I'm absolutely stunned by his solo guitar playing and his comping. I saw an interview very recently with Max, and I can't remember the channel, unfortunately. A wonderful channel. I think Modern Jazz Guitar or something like that. And they did a duet. The guy that was interviewing did a duet with Max, and Max's comping is just so inspiring. It's very sparse with it, but always so interesting, and certainly something I would like to study, the way that Max approaches his comping sound. It's really, really interesting. Also, I remember hearing a solo version, I think it was Autumn Leaves, that Max did, and it was just unbelievable, the way he's able to seamlessly go between single note lines and chords within his playing. He's just an absolutely wonderful player. If you check out like live performances that he did, well, I think they were in a studio, but with his trio of like tunes like by Joe Henderson, like Punjab, he's got a wonderful arrangement of that. Kind of changes some of the rhythms in there, adds some kind of like a modern touch to the tune, if it's possible to get any more modern than Joe Henderson, that is. I'm not sure whether that's even possible, but regardless, it's beautiful music. I'm a huge fan of what Max is doing. It's kind of like, imagine Charles Altura mixed with Kurt Rosenwinkel. It's that kind of bag. Absolutely wonderful playing. So if you haven't heard of Max Light, then definitely go out and check him out. Extremely interesting guitar playing. So out of the big boys, I missed out talking about Antoine Boyer. And obviously, he was on my favourite YouTube channel list before. Antoine is a stunning guitar player. Absolutely stunning guitar player. If there's any guy that I would say may be the standout talent of the generation, then it may possibly be Antoine Boyer. Just an absolutely stunning player. I've talked about the counterpoint in his arrangements before. It is really next level. That I haven't heard that level of counterpoint in the jazz guitar context before. Julian Lage has also expanded what's possible in that direction too. And when Julian does it, it's all purely improvised. Whereas because Antoine Boyer a lot of the time is doing arrangements, it can be a little bit more pre-composed, so he's got a little bit more time to really explore, the depths of counterpoint, see how far he can take it. So it's absolutely beautiful play. Anything that Antoine touches is just going to turn to gold. So yeah, definitely check out Antoine Boyer if you haven't heard of him before. So now we're getting to the very unknown guys, or at least far more unknown guys. So next on the list, I'm going to put this Russian dude. So this is going to be a massacre from this point on, guys, because the names are just unpronounceable, I'm afraid. But I'm going to try my best. So Evenny, I can manage that. And then you got Pabozi. So I'm going to try here. Pabozi. I'm going to go for that. That's obviously going to be an absolute butchery. But Evenny Pabozi, regardless, an absolutely stunning guitar player. I think he's Russian. Sorry if I'm wrong on that. I think he is Russian. But anyway, I saw him first at the Herbie Hancock guitar competition, playing with many other guitar players, and I think he won the competition. This competition was a bit ridiculous in the sense that all these players were just so good that choosing a winner was just disrespectful, I feel, because all the other players were equally deserving as Evenny. But that doesn't take away from Evenny, because he's an absolutely inspiring player. I've been listening to him recently. He's been playing with one of my old mates, Thomas Biora, over in Russia or Poland or something. They've been playing over there. And that bass player, Anton Davidus or something. I never met that guy, but killer bass player. They've been doing some heavy fusion out there. He's just got incredible chops. It's just ridiculous chops. Amazing jazz language. Just a really, really heavy player. Unbelievable technique. The timing is spot on. Really interesting ideas. And yeah, I really respect what he's doing. So if you haven't checked that guy out, loads of recordings of him online. I heard him playing over Cherokee. I've heard him playing over that Herbie Actual Proof by Herbie. And he's just going to absolutely rip your face off with his lines. They're just absolutely outrageous. The level of technique and interest he's got in his lines. So I would definitely encourage you to check out Evenny's stuff online. So next, I'm going to whack in my buddy here. I say my buddy, I added him on Facebook just because I was really impressed by his playing. And he seems like such a lovely guy. So we've got Francois Chanvalon. So again, please excuse my pronunciation of the names. I'll write these non-English names on the screen so you can check these guys out. But Francois, again, another player that performed in the Herbie Hancock guitar competition. Unbelievable player. So what's different about this guy is, apart from Joshua Mida, he's the only guy on the list who I've heard divulging into the whole modern metal stuff. Because you probably know that it's not really my cup of tea. However, when Francois does it, it's incredible, because he's got such an amazing jazz foundation in his language, and you'll hear that in his performance at the Herbie Hancock guitar competition. He's a huge Alan Holdsworth fan, and he's really able to bring this influence into whatever he does. But he's also got, as I said before, beautiful jazz phrasing, which really underpins his playing. Whether he's playing modern metal, or whether he's playing jazz, or whether he's playing fusion, his phrasing is just always on point. So yeah, I'm hugely impressed by Francois' playing. He's put out a lot of videos out there. I'm sure he's got a far larger following than myself, so you probably all know him. But yeah, he also does incredible Holdsworth transcriptions, some of the best. I don't think I can think of anyone that does them better than him. Like, they're always technically perfect. He just plays it, you know, to absolute perfection. An Alan Holdsworth solo, but he's also developing his own sound, and I genuinely really like what he does over the more metally tracks. He can really rip on that stuff and sounds so wonderful. But whichever direction that he chooses to go down, whether that be jazz, fusion, or the more metal stuff, you know, he's certainly a player to watch out for. An absolute beast. So definitely check out Francois. Next on the list, and again, a very unknown guy called Ohad Neisberg. I think I can get by with that pronunciation there. So this guy is very much like that other guitar player. I think he's called Jonathan Stout or Jonathan Stroud or something. He's kind of like very old school swing player, but doing it in an exceptionally modern, technical way. I've just heard him play more like solo guitar online. He'll play like rhythm changes and stuff, but his comping and the way he can comp while soloing and fill out all aspects of the sound, he's just an absolutely incredible guitar player. So I don't know much about this guy, and he is very much a more traditional jazz player, but he's an underrated master, this guy, and I presume at some point very soon this guy will blow up. So yeah, that is Ohad Neisberg. So next on the list, I'll refer to the phone for this. I'll put my buddy. I'm going to put my buddy next, actually. I say my buddy. I don't know him that well, but I remember meeting him in a bar called Troy Bar, Psychofusion Jazz Jam, probably over 10 years ago now. And we had a good chat then, and he's such a lovely guy. We've spoken a few times since. But wonderful guy, and an absolutely stunning guitar player. So I'm talking about Nick Linick, who is a UK-based guitar player. He's got a YouTube channel. He hasn't done anything for a while on it, but some incredible performances on there. An amazing version of him doing Secrets by Alan Holdsworth. But he's also got a lot of his own solo playing up there, and I think he's a little bit more I think he puts a little bit more up on Instagram, but as I say, I don't really do the Instagram thing that much. So he's an incredible player. He's very much like he's got his own thing, but if I were to liken it to anything, I would say, like, imagine John McLaughlin and Alan Holdsworth had a baby, then Nick Linick would come out, you know, absolutely ripping it up on guitar. His alternate picking and his timing is probably the best I've ever seen in person. And I remember saying that to him when I met him all that time ago, because we were very, very different players back then. We were a lot younger, and back then, neither of us had developed harmonically to where we are now. But Nick already had absolutely phenomenal alternate picking and timing, and I remember saying, wow, man, your alternate picking is just absolutely flawless. And it blew me away. But since then, he's really gone on a journey, and if you check out his, he does this Holdsworth tribute where he's not just trying to play like Holdsworth, he's really trying to play like him, and he's just playing over the Holdsworth songs with his band, and his vocabulary is really, really interesting, really inspiring. So it's really nice to see Nick really go on that journey, and I've kind of seen it firsthand in the sense that I remember when he was a lot younger, when he had all the chops, but just like I feel with myself, then we've developed our harmonic options on the instrument a lot since then, and what he's done really is inspiring. So an absolutely wonderful player. So I think this may be the last guy I've got on my list. Yeah, it's the last guy. Last guy is this guy called, again, another name that I'm going to butcher here, Caspar Hedglesen. Hedlesen. So this player is, I think he's a German player. They're calling him Freitag online, which is rather humorous. But it's just to do with his hairstyle. But he's not that I'm one to talk on the matter, but he's an absolutely incredible player. So beautiful, very much kind of going down the more Bill Frisell kind of route. He plays on many different guitars, and he puts flat wound strings on them, and his touch is just absolutely beautiful. The simplicity of what he plays, yet the complexity. It's like he plays so sparsely, yet there's so much implied in what he plays. The phrasing, the note choice, the chords, the single note lines, it's all just so beautiful with this guy. So I think he's doing quite well on the old YouTube. I think he's got quite a few subscribers, but it's been very recently that I found out about him, so I don't think everyone really knows about this guy. I think he must just be about 25 or something. Very, very beautiful player, and I would really encourage you to check him out if you're into really tasteful, beautifully phrased playing. There's a beautiful version of Body and Soul that I heard him play. So tasteful, just really, really exceptional. So there was a guy, the final guy actually, that I didn't write him down on my list, but I just remembered about him. And he's a real dark horse, this guy. One of the most impressive players I've ever seen. And I don't know whether I'm even going to be getting his name right. So I'm going to, if I get it wrong, I will correct it and write that on the screen. But a guy called, I think it's Ben Forcione or Ben Fortuna or something. So this guy is just incredible. I think he works at Juilliard as like a kind of a guy that does the admin or something. But his playing is just stunning. He's kind of got a Rainer bass element to his sound. But at the same time, he's got a lot of technique and, chordal ability, single note line ability too. It's just exceptionally modern. So I've only heard him play a few things, because there are some recordings of him online, but he's extremely young then. And this guy has turned into a different animal since those recordings. There's one that I heard of him playing an unbelievable arrangement of All of Me. The harmony is just incredible. This guy is a real dark horse. He's got potential to take the jazz scene by a storm. He's just an unbelievable player. There was also this kind of arrangement of All the Things You Are he did, and he said it was in a kind of bluegrass style or something, but take that with a pinch of salt, because this guy, yes, there was the bluegrass influence, but it was just an influence. Essentially, this was cutting edge jazz, really. Come on, Alfie, let's go this way. There's a husky this time. It's always this part of the park. Get the big boys out. But yeah, so Ben Fortuna, or I'm going to write his name on the screen because I'm going to be butchering it here. But he's an absolutely incredible guitar player. And anything you can find by Ben, please let me know, because as I say, I've only really heard the All the Things You Are and All of Me performances, but trust me, that's enough to be absolutely gobsmacked by what this guy is capable of, and still so young. So there you go. There are my list of some players who really inspire me from the younger generation. I would have missed out guys. Another great player from the UK is Tommy Ramone. We'll be doing a duet soon, so he'll be on the channel. Great kind of player who plays more in the kind of Bernstein, Peter Bernstein schooling. But he's well and truly on his journey to discovering his sound. So we've got a duo gig sometime in July, so we'll do a little chat, and we'll put some playing up of us playing together. So I'm looking forward to that, my good old buddy Tommy. But yeah, guys, so any guys that I've missed out in the comments, please write them down. There are so many wonderful young guitar players, and I see them all the time, guys that I've never heard of, and I'm just like stunned of all the talent that's out there. So please spread awareness of these guys and introduce them to myself and other people in the comments section. It's always wonderful to find out hidden gems in the guitar community. But yeah, anyway, guys, so I don't think I'm going to manage to get a lesson done this week. I'll probably put out a small video on my Patreon for my supporters over there of a visualization exercise that really helped me, just to give them something to keep them busier over the week. But someone asked me over there whether I can do a video on Messiaen mode, Messiaen's third mode. So I'm probably going to put a little bit more work into putting out a better quality video on Messiaen's third mode, as there isn't much stuff available online. So yeah, I'll probably put a little bit more time into doing that video and getting that one out for the following week. And hopefully that'll provide more value than me just churning something out today or tomorrow. I think it'd be better to, put my time into planning ahead and getting something of value out on Messiaen's third mode, which I think is quite an interesting topic. It certainly will be for me. And I'll explain to you in the video how I view that mode and how Alan actually viewed that mode. Although Alan did use it more than I use it, we both didn't come at it from studying it as a Messiaen mode. We came at it from a different approach, rather than a player like Nelson Veras, who definitely studied the Messiaen modes through Messiaen's approach. So I'll talk about that more in detail in the video. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna get up to, guys. And as always, guys, thanks for your support. And yeah, me and Alfie will be back very shortly for another video. So take it easy, guys.